Let's do a quick recap of last sesh. So we were kind of just finished fighting Valdrew and some of the Lordless Crown that was hanging out around Seladrine Lake, kind of figuring out a little bit more of what this devious plan that Lena had with this disease was. And as we kind of discovered a little bit more and were fighting them off, we found these vials of liquid that we opted to bring back to the Temple of the Saviors, hoping that it was a cure. When we did that and kind of tested it out on Fenrisha, we discovered it actually wasn't a cure. In fact, it was a underwater breathing potion. And so with that information, you decided that meant that it was probably like a escape plan for Valdrew and the Lordless in this hut to be able to dive under the water and go wherever these poison casts were coming from. So you decided to go back to the hut and dive into the lake after imbibing these potions of water breathing, except for Zunis, who can already breathe underwater. You were able to swim to the bottom of the lake, and on the bottom of the lake you found that there was this old ruined temple that appeared elven in nature. And as you were down there, Zunis opted to speak to some of the undersea creatures, and he met a very friendly crab called Scrounger, who was
that's right.
Who was very, very kind, if abrupt, and helpful. And he basically pointed you right into the location to go. Told you that he saw Valdrew head into the temple in a certain location, and also gave you a pretty big hint in how to avoid some pretty dangerous eels kind of guarding the temple. And so you found a way into this undersea temple through a bit of an air pocket, and you were actually able to enter the temple and kind of look around a little bit in this ruined space. While you were in here, you found some interesting things, a little bit of historical lore. It looks like this temple was in fact an elven temple that was built in honor of the ancient elven gods before the sundering of the world. You also found some interesting knickknacks that were here, like a broken eagle whistle that seemed like at one point in time it could have been magical. But you also stumbled on this really interesting blue glowing crystal that turned out to be a security mechanism that contained a living lightning spell that pretty badly beat you up. Sent some pretty big lightning damage to a while. Near killed Zunis. You guys were able to recover. Thad, with some nice quick thinking, was able to heal everyone else out there pretty well, and you kind of were able to search the rest of this temple. So as you were fighting off this living lightning bolt, you kind of fended it off, able to kill its other water elementals that were summoned, and you investigated the rest of this kind of undersea temple, and you found that there was a kind of hidden latch that looked like it was recently covered up. And as you unlocked it and headed down into this circular chamber that was going even further underneath the actual ground seafloor, you found yourselves in a circular kind of basement that was holding a bunch of these little small wooden casks, almost like small barrels, that you recognized from the barrels that were being floated up to the surface of Seladrine Lake to the fishing hut that Valdrew was using. And you noticed on these casks that they were marked with these 3 black dots, which Thad recognized to be the symbol of a not very benevolent goddess known as Talona, who is the goddess of disease and poison. As you kind of investigate a little bit more, you noticed that there was a doorway in front of you, one doorway in kind of this smaller chamber that was filled with these casks. And as you opened it, you saw that it actually led into a very narrow hallway, kind of bent around the corner a little bit and went forward. And this hallway, this stonework seemed to be much different. The stonework was newer. It looked like a much different color, a much different quarry. It looks like it was built at a different time. It was connected to this basement floor of this temple. And as you walked forward a little bit, you noticed that there was this acrid smell in the air, and as you get walking forward, it started to sting your eyes a little bit, and the scent was really hurting your noses, and you saw these green puffs of smoke kind of glow from down the hallway at an intersection that kind of went left and right in front of you. And as you kind of waited for a moment to decide what to do, you heard this thump, thump, thump walk past the hallway, and what you saw was the figure of a very stony, winged gargoyle carrying one of these casks in one hand, with its lid in the other. So it's an opened cask in one hand, kind of walking through this glowing green space up ahead of you. And that's where we left off last time. So I will ask you friends. You can see a little bit of what's in front of you. I will say you see the intersection right in front of you guys, right in front of Zunus' character. And it goes straight to the left of you or straight to the right of you, so down or up. You can go either way. This is the space where you see the green glowing kind of puffs of smoke and these gargoyles that are walking through.
I sure wish we had some of that pass without trace right about now.
Well, I kind of missed what just happened, so I'm assuming we're trying to avoid gargoyles?
Essentially, yes. There's gargoyles in this room with these like frequent bursts of greenish glow. You can't see what's causing the glow yet, but you can smell this very acrid scent. And you do... yeah, please.
Is there only one... from what we can see, is there only one like path for us to go down, or is there kind of like... Could we be a little bit stealthy and kind of hide by the walls and kind of walk around, or is it just one pathway?
It's pretty narrow. It's one pathway. Does anyone remember who kind of walked up to the path first? I thought it was Thad, but I could be wrong.
I don't recall, but it can be Thad.
Let's do this. Let's have everyone roll an insight check.
Me too.
Ooh.
Yes. Well, I still need yours anyway, Dent, so you can put it all at the same time. Okay.
Was that sent to you, DM?
Yep, Zunus, I got 9. Rowena, I got 12.
Yes.
Ivone doing well with a 20. Nice job. And then Thad, did I get yours yet? I don't think so.
Should be coming in right now.
No worries. Oh, there you are.
It is a 20. I think you can let me know if it comes through.
Oh, yeah, I've got it. So for Thad and Ivo, what you noticed about this gargoyle that was walking through is there's no way it didn't see you. You guys were right at the edge of this pathway. It didn't seem to either take notice or care of your presence, or it had a different job to do. But there's no way it didn't notice you. It literally walked right by you. Within feet. And it's, it's not that dark here with this green glow. So it didn't seem to do anything.
Seems like perhaps we should proceed and act like we know what we're doing.
DM, is it a similar kind of color or glow to the things we battled with in the other room, like in the alarm? I forget what exactly those creatures were.
No, this looks very different. The light also isn't like a pulsing. It's almost like something is being injected into the room. It's causing light to spread, dissipates a little bit, and then after another pretty routine interval, you hear this, and the glow comes back. So it's like, and you keep seeing it.
I think we should stealthily exit this. We're still in the same temple, right? Where we fought those watermen?
Correct. So you could...
Were we trying to exit this place to begin with?
You were. The hard part is you have no more breathing potions of water. And so trying to go the way you came means essentially trying to hold your breath for, 20, 30 minutes as you swim back to the surface.
Which I can do, but
Correct.
They can't.
Correct.
Could I theoretically go up with Dent, get more, and then... Or is that too much?
Oh, well, you don't know where Dent is. You could theoretically, if you wanted to leave these folks down here for however much time that takes.
Well, I feel bad because they're stuck with these gargoyle folks.
I mean, what you guys decide to do is what you decide to do.
Well, I mean, I guess otherwise you guys are just trapped there forever, though, right? Because there's no breathing potions in this temple.
Well, we don't know that. We could find some breathing potions. There are no breathing potions where we already went.
Yeah, with how you guys did a pretty good job of investigating earlier, and there wasn't anything really else that you missed upstairs.
It seems like pressing on is our only option.
And within this
I'm
temple,
down.
against these gargoyles.
Within the temple, this is the way that... Correct me if I'm wrong, Nate, but we explored pretty much every path except for this one, right?
Correct. And this seems purpose built. It's there's not like a lot of other options. This area that we're in right now doesn't seem like it was part of the same temple structure above. It seems very different. It's a narrow hallway. There's really nowhere else to go. It seems like it was made to be here. It seems like it was added here. It wasn't the thing that was part of the temple from before, and someone did this intentionally.
And we haven't found the corpse of the butcher yet, so if he's in the temple, as our crabby friend said, sounds like this is where he'd be.
I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, let's proceed in.
All right, so you guys walk in, and the first thing I need everyone to do is roll a Constitution saving throw for me as you walk into this space. Okay, Rowena coming out strong.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so I've got Rowena with a 2.
Oh no, Rowena.
Okay, I just want to double check. Is anyone here immune to poison?
I'm
Where do we
against
do that?
I have
poisoning
traits?
other.
I have resistance to
Yeah,
poison.
it would be in traits. So that's good to know. I think you're the only one that's going to matter, although you did check it. So for...
I have damage immunity to poison.
So
But I'm
you
not
are immune.
here.
You're immune to poison, which would work, but you're not in this moment. Although that might
Right.
come up later. But Rowena and Zunis and Ivo, you guys walk into this space, and Thad, you see this as well. It just doesn't seem to affect you as much since you're a little bit more hardy, and you see what's causing. Immediately, you see what's causing this this like light to come through. As you walk through it, and you're seeing the tail end of this gargoyle kind of thud through this space, kind of going in front of you. You see that there are 2 vents, kind of from the left of you, and at very routine intervals, the vents go, and this like mist of green glowing gas pumps into the room, and it seems very heavy because almost immediately it settles, and it kind of settles to the floor and spreads out. You see that kind of come out, and actually what you notice is that gargoyle that was in front of you is kind of waiting for this puff of green mist to shoot out of these 2 vents, and he's got the cask open in one hand with the lid other, and he's kind of holding it up to it's kind of collecting this gas that's coming out of here, and he kind of stamps to the other one, waits for the other one to do the same thing, gets more gas, and continues around until he turns a corner eventually up in front of you. As that's happening in front of you, from behind you, you hear another and it's another gargoyle, also with the cask, who sees you. There's no way he doesn't see you. You're there in front of him in a very narrow space. He sees you there. You're kind of in his way. He just pushes past you and kind of squishes you off to the wall, and just continues to do the same thing. So you now see at least 2 gargoyles going through, collecting whatever this mist or gas is from these vents as they're walking through. But for the 3 of you, Ivo, Zunis, and Rowena, as you get into the space and you feel these noxious fumes, you actually just can't quite shake off the scent and the smell, and it's starting to cough. It's hard to breathe. You're feeling your chest get tight. You all take...
Oh, no.
Out here.
Are you guys all at full hit points right now? Because I'm imagining we're getting some taken away.
You are. Well, actually,
We're
the roll
already
was
full.
1.
We
You
did.
take 1 point of poison damage. Lucky for you. And you, and you are all, you three, for this time frame, are considered poisoned. So it's important to consider that. If you are poisoned, what that means on checks going forward until you are no longer poisoned, you have disadvantage on.
So we have to get some sort of antidote, otherwise recover.
Sounds about right.
Exactly right. So you either need to figure out how to not be poisoned, deal with it, or wait for it to pass. You're not sure. Although roll a medicine check, Rowena. We'll see how much you know about this.
Okay.
I don't think it's very much, but let's see.
You're not sure. What you can tell is you don't feel like this is the strongest poison you've ever had. And a little bit of breathing this in isn't causing... You're a former criminal. You've used poisons before. Some are very fact-acting and can be very devastating. This one isn't devastating, but can possibly be lingering.
Gotcha.
So you're in the space.
Very familiar.
You see basically two ways to go at this point. You're still seeing the gargoyles just kind of pounce on through this place. As you are kind of looking there, you can see there's a corner to turn up in front of you, and there's a corner to turn down below you.
Well, regardless of how bad this poisoning is, we probably shouldn't stay any longer than we have to.
Yeah.
I agree.
Ruth, top or bottom?
Ooh, why are we doing this again?
I'll go first. You just tell me which way to go.
I feel like top, because if the further down we go, the deeper we are into the ocean.
Top it is.
I hate making the decisions.
I'm gonna, Nate, try and head that way. Of course, waiting until the kind of like gouts of gas are not shooting. Trying to like time my movement forward.
Perfect. I would like you to roll a dexterity check, athletics or acrobatics, whichever one you'd like to do.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nice.
21.
All right, there you go. Yeah, so you actually do time it very well. It's pretty routine. They're not very fast. You do notice the gas is a little bit heavier, and it's collected more where the vents are, and you are able to get through both of them without any trouble. As you get there, the gargoyle is still kind of walking through. You now notice that there's actually another gargoyle. So there's 3 gargoyles that you can make out just trying to collect this poison.
Follow me, team. Don't mind the stony beasts.
So anyone that's trying to follow Fad, I also need you to roll either an acrobatics check or an athletics check. Remember, if you're poisoned, you have disadvantage on these checks.
Athletics it is for me.
And
Me too.
21.
I just want to double check. Are these rolls at disadvantage?
Yes.
Yes, I got 21 at this.
Oh, so I'm rolling twice in the second one?
Correct. One
Or
thing
the
you
one
can
with
do
the
too, if you're
blasters.
using D&D Beyond, if you just right click on the dice roll, it will give you an option for advantage or disadvantage. So you don't have to click it twice if you don't want to.
I just did, but I got 12 on my second one, so that's my
So
lesser score.
I just got to check one quick thing.
I didn't know that. That's handy.
Yeah, there's also a way to do critical rolls as well in case you get a 20, which is handy. Perfect. Actually, everyone is able to time the jumps well enough and get through the kind of poison puffs as they're going through. As you look back, you actually notice that the first gargoyle seemed to make a full lap. And as he made a full lap, you see him near that original entryway that you came in through. He's closing the lid on the cask and walking back to the kind of basement area where all the other casks were. You see him disappear for a while. You hear some more thudding. He comes back. He has a fresh cask in his hand, and he's doing the same thing. So these gargoyles seem to be on this loop of just putting poison into these casks, sending them into this basement, and doing the same thing over and over and over again. As you get there, you do see that it does kind of go into a couple of different forks. Thad, since you were first, you basically see as you walk up front that there are a couple of options in front of you. In this top corner, as you kind of round it through, you do see that there is a doorway directly in front of you, and that there is a path leading down. Looks like it's a loop, and in this other pathway, there are more vents, also puffing out the green kind of glowing poison. You can also see, though, from this angle that there seem to be two other doorways in front of you. One is almost in the middle of that long hallway in front of you, Thad, going down, and one is at the far end. Both go to the right of you if you're looking down to the west side, basically, of this map. But there seem to be three doors that you could possibly open.
I'm going to go ahead and just push open the door that I'm standing right next to.
Perfect. So I'm going to, as you push it open, I just want to double check one quick thing. Make sure I've given you all the detail that you have. So as you push it open, you hear this. Sounds like it sounds like air moving very quickly. And even as you open it, even before you open it, you see that the kind of poisonous gas on the floor is kind of being sucked into this room, kind of in the crack. There's a wide crack at the bottom of this door, and this poison is being pulled into this room. And as you open the door, you can tell why. In this space, there are 4 spinning blades, and they're basically made so the blades have almost no distance between them as they spin. And what they're doing is they're creating this kind of vortex of air, siphoning the poison out and up into this area above. Can you do me a favor and roll a perception check for me?
Sure can.
Sound very chill for a guy going into a room that may murder you.
You know, I'm guided by Helm. What can I say?
Your faith is strong, bro.
Perfect. So we got a 14. Nice. Awesome. So in this room, let me just give you some more detail about it since you've got a pretty good check. This room is different than the rooms before you. The room that you were in, the hallway, the ceiling was not very tall. Even for a dwarf, you could tell it was pretty short. Maybe 8 feet at most. Meant to be pretty tight. This room is much taller. It's almost a little hard to see the ceiling with how dark it is up higher. It's about 20 feet up. But you can kind of make out that there's a top there somewhere. You can see, though, that the gas seems to be lingering up at the top. But, if there was so much there that just stopped, there must be an exit point up there somehow. The fans are multi-tiered as well. So it's not like just one level. They basically span from the ground level about 6 inches off the ground in tiers of about 3 or 4 levels, about 10 feet. So there's not like a way to jump over the fan or get under the fan, really, unless you can clear about 10 feet. There's a gap from the top level of the fans to the ceiling that you can tell of about 10 feet of this total height that you've got. But up there, you can see that some of these fumes have kind of collected as it's been pulling up these areas. In the center of the room, you can tell there is just maybe a 5-foot space where something could be on its own. Additionally, there is another 5-foot clearing up near the top center of the room. You can kind of see it. It's actually got a little light source. There's a torch, like a wall sconce, up in that space. And next to that wall sconce is a set of levers. What languages do you read?
I read Dwarven, of course.
Of course.
I read Draconic, Common, and Infernal.
So you can tell that there's a language, but you can't make it out what it says. But next to these two levers, on top of these two levers, there seems to be a label, but you can't make out what they say. You also are unsure how to get there from here without somehow flying or getting over, getting through these blades.
I turn to the group and say, well, I sure hope we don't have to go this way.
If I can ask too, what languages do you guys speak? Double check.
I speak Common, Draconic, Halfling, Sylvan, Thieves' Cant.
Okay.
I speak Common, Dwarvish, Elvish, which is not Elvis, Gnomish, and Primordial.
Okay.
I speak common.
Infernal.
Infernal. So actually, Zunis, you can read those levers.
I knew asking for languages 6 months ago would pay off.
And you can actually tell that this is primordial. What stands out to you about that is primordial is a very odd language. It's not typically used. It's certainly not used in everyday society. And the reason why you know it is a little bit of your background. This is the language of elemental type creatures. And you might have experience with that from your days under the sea with water elementals and other ancient creatures of that type. So it seems like the only types of creatures... Well, actually, let's do this before I give you that answer. Can you roll a nature check for me?
D20.
Nice. Perfect 20. So you actually can kind of put 2 and 2 together. You know that gargoyles are basically elemental type creatures. It seems as though these signs are written so that the gargoyles can understand them, or that these elemental creatures that are down here can understand them, as if they're instructions. And so you do know that gargoyles have wings; they can fly. Supposedly, that's the way they get to these things, to do something with them. But the signs say the one on the left says speed. You can also see as you look through it that there are notches on the left of this lever. 3 different notches, one at the bottom, one in the middle, one at the top. And on the top of it, the label says speed. The other level just says engage and is currently all the way at the bottom.
Well, I think I'd like to turn the speed all the way down.
You can't reach it from where you are. The lever is across the room, kind of where that light source is, up at the top. The only way to get there is to either walk right through the fans, which sounds problematic,
Sure.
get over them somehow, or figure out another way to engage that thing from afar.
Wait, if only we had a flying broom, this would be perfect in this moment.
I send the flying broom to the group.
So, actually, I need Dent to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Oh, shit.
I'm the worst roller.
Okay. So, Dent, as you spent the last couple of days in the Urzatsurai complex, learning a little bit of trying to really shice your way into learning a little bit more of Commander Ormond's plans, or Supervisor Ormond's plans, how she knew you, what the Urzatsurai are up to. Eventually, you do feel like it's been quite a while since your friends have returned. You were hoping they were just going to check in with the contact, come back. That hasn't happened. You've also heard through reports that came back to Supervisor Ormond that there was a large explosion near the Temple of the Saviors where you knew your new accomplices were going to be. And so that was very alarming. You didn't know exactly where they would be. Supervisor Ormond told you that they would go towards the Temple of the Saviors. And so that's where you actually took the broom of flying to go to. In that way, as you were flying kind of through on your broom to get into that direction, you did see off in the distance that there was a fishing hut that was exploded, and you assumed that this is where your friends were. You thought the worst, though, because the carnage of this fishing hut seemed pretty devastating. And so in a fit of panic, you opted to send the broom to your friends, hoping that it would be able to find them somehow by some miracle, and just hang on to the broom and hope it takes you there. Unfortunately, it took you straight to the bottom of the lake, at which point you really struggled to just hold your breath and stay there. I do need to ask something, though. Does your character say if he needs to breathe? Because I know you're a Warforged.
Right.
It should be in your racial features.
Racial. Background characteristics. It's
Oh,
not
we
in
gotta
the
bring race
description.
into this.
Oh man.
Had to happen eventually.
I'm out. I'm seeing description, characteristic. Sorry, where am I finding racial?
Look in your features and traits, and in there you should see racial features.
Oh, I was under descriptions. My fault. Racial traits. I'm great with poison. Take a long time to rest. Armor class. You don't need to eat, drink, or breathe.
Okay, awesome. So you're pulled down, and you're totally able to handle the underwater space. But as you're just hanging on for dear life, you're just getting battered against rock and stone and bits of this temple. There's also no clear way into this place, and it just tries to connect your will to what you wanted it to do. And as it does, it did manage to find a small, what must have been vent or something that shoved you through this tight space hole that you were dragged through. And you feel it dragging you through this space. It's completely dark. There's no vision to be had here. You can tell that there's no longer water around you, but suddenly you're in this space where there is just gaseous air kind of taking there, and you're still falling. And suddenly you just hit the ground real hard with a thwack, and you find yourself on this stone floor with these fan blades spinning above you. Sadly, through all of that stuff, you have taken 12 points of damage on the way down. Of all types of damage: bludgeoning, slashing, piercing. But Dent is in the building, hoping that the broom would find him there.
It took him a lot less time to get there than us.
So weird how that worked out.
The Eagles are coming.
They are. You just got a little Deus Ex Machina somewhere. Dent, what was your insight check from before? Do you remember the one I gave you?
It was the insight. Shit, that was a while ago.
It's in the messages too. If I need to go back.
Yeah, I'm looking through. It was low.
It was a 6.
I believe it was a 6.
We'll talk about a little bit of what you were able to learn from the Zatzarite complex. One of the reasons I wanted you to roll a D22, that I just wanted to see what happened to the broom in all of this. The broom took some damage. And while you think you might still be able to fly on it a little bit, its range and weight capacity seems very much reduced. It is a little bit broken. Some of the bits are fraying off. Its weight capacity is reduced by half, and you can no longer send it up to that mile with it returning. You don't think its connection to you is as strong as it once was. You think you can still use it to fly, but it has caused this journey to try to just like hope for the best has caused some damage on this broom. So just some things to keep in mind. But suddenly, Zunis and Thad, you see just the body of this Warforged character just plop down from the ceiling as he shambles in front of you.
Good to see you guys again.
Dent, is that you?
Yes, this is me. I'm Dent. I've come to help you on your quest.
Good, man. We're kind of in a bind right now.
Tell me everything. It's been a long time since I've heard from any of you.
Well, you've come to about the worst place that we're trapped in. So we need to get these fans off, man.
Yes, I see the fans on the ceiling. What have we tried so far?
I read Primordial, and that's about it. I can
Dropped in just in time.
And I forgot what it said at the bottom, but
one said engage and one said speed.
Engage.
And, the one with speed had 3 notches next to it. And the one with engage didn't have any notches, but was all the way to the bottom.
And is Dent right next to it?
Dent literally ended right next to
Sorry,
it.
I should look at my external screen. Oh. Do you think you can turn these levers?
I would point out that we perhaps could explore more doors without turning any levers, given that we don't necessarily know what these levers will do, aside from the fact that turning them off will surely drop more poison onto all of us, which for those of us who do need to breathe is a bit of a problem.
Which is all of us except Dent. Correct.
Who's moving Thad around, by the way?
It's me. I've just noticed that I can explore different things if I just move him. So I was
can.
just kind of looking.
You can.
Can't put out.
I'm going to turn that feature off while Bernie tries to break things.
Well, let's see what the next 2 hours of the game are.
If I move.
If I move, I could see what Nate has in store for me.
Oh, I got him.
So while this is all happening, I'm going to try to move past the one vent to my south to the door in the middle.
Okay, so I need you to do two things. One, roll another acrobatics or athletics check to see if you can bypass the poison vents. By the way, this whole time the gargoyles are still walking through. Was that a 25 for you? Right?
16 for me.
So let me just confirm this with the group. These vents are preventing poison from killing you all.
Right now, it seems as though it's making sure. It seems like it's pulling the poison out of the hallway, and kind of consistently pushing it up through this chimney that you found. These turbines almost seem like they're on, almost as if this area is like one big kind of system or machine, and it's meant to do this.
So just breaking the system is a very dangerous proposition for those of us who need air and who can't breathe poison.
Yeah, you don't know that. Although I will say, as someone who's proficient with a lot of tools as an artificer, can I have you roll a intelligence check, and I'm going to have you add your proficiency bonus to it.
12 on intelligence. What's the proficiency? +3
So
is
15?
my proficiency, so that's 15.
So you definitely could tell that these fans, based on the way that you came in, you found somehow this chimney, and these turbines are definitely somehow meant to keep the airflow circulating, and it seems as though it's almost like a relief valve. It's meant to make sure that an excessive poison can't build up for whatever reason. You look around too in this area that you landed. By the way, your character is not able to leave that space that you're in. If you do, you're going to hit those fans. They're completely blocking you into this space. But you can see down below you that there is a room down there, that area where you're moving Dent, although don't move him too much further. You can see there is a room in there as well that's lit in that space as well. Thad, you were able to get to that door without issue. And that door also seems to have a label above it in big letters. You're assuming it's primordial based on the transcription, but you cannot read what it says.
Zunis, do you want to come help me decipher this?
I do.
So Zunis, I also need you to roll a acrobatics check or athletics check, either one.
Athletics. Always going athletics, baby.
Do it. Nice.
I have a +5. 21.
Nice.
You get through it pretty easily. On this sign that you see, it says. So the door is actually marked with the 3 drops of Tolona, the ones you recognized from the casks before. And above it is that sign that you were able to see, and in it, it says in big capital primordial letters, caution. Can I have Thad and Zunis both roll perception checks for me?
You may.
Ooh.
Am I rolling at disadvantage again?
You are Zunis, yes.
Oh, because it's pretty bad.
Either one's not bad. So you don't notice much. Thad, you don't notice much either, other than the signage that you see on the door.
Well, that sounds foreboding.
And actually, let me even give you one more little thing that you would see. I gotta read through this quicker. So it's 3 dots, and over the 3 dots is a big red X.
Well, We probably shouldn't go in there.
Perhaps not for the time being.
Yeah.
Zunis, do you want to check the last door at the bottom and see if it has a sign as well?
I
You'll
don't
have
think we have
to,
any other choice yet.
I'll put a hand on Zunis's shoulder and cast guidance.
Okay.
Oh.
So Zunis, roll
Turning into
another.
Firo on me.
Oh, Firo is still with you, by the way. I gotta remember that Firo's here. That's what happens.
Spiritually.
I gotta run too many NPCs, but Firo is still with you. We'll just say for the time being, he's made all the checks without issue. Zunis, I need you to roll another acrobatics check or athletics check to see if you get through this next vent.
And you can roll a D4 and add it to your check.
E4?
D4.
D4.
E4 would
Four
be an
would
error,
be an error on the second basement.
In baseball,
In baseball, scorekeeping prolongs.
So D4 plus my athletics check, which was rolled at a disadvantage.
So
is
you're
10.
you're really having a hard time getting through this space, Zunis, and you just can't quite get through this. And as you're kind of going a little slower, one of these vent just pumps a full face full of poison just right at you. It's right at face level. You end up breathing it in.
Yeah.
You take another 2d10. 9 points of damage. And because you're already poisoned, you have 1 level of exhaustion as well.
No.
Does that need to be added to my damage in any capacity, or just
There might
I just
be
remember that?
I think if there's a way to mark that you have exhaustion, I'll figure it out though. Don't sweat it too much. I'll remember. Couple of mechanics about exhaustion. Exhaustion basically gives you disadvantage on your ability checks until you can get rid of that point of exhaustion, which you need a long rest to get rid of 1 point of exhaustion. You can get up to 6 points of exhaustion. If you get 6 points of exhaustion, though, you automatically die.
Good.
So,
Like there's no saving throws or anything
correct.
like that?
You are dead.
It's just cool, dude. All right.
But you are on the other side, and you do see that there is a door down there as well. This door, strangely, has no markings on it.
Well, I think I should open this door for sure.
Okay. So you open the door, and the thing that is the most alarming as you open this door, the door actually opens outward towards you. And as you open it, it's not locked or anything. You open it. The light from the glowing poison almost gets swallowed by the darkness inside of this space.
Didn't we all bring lights though?
You did, and some of you can even see in the dark, like that, who can see kind of below that area. And even with that, you cannot see into this space. In fact, as you walk in through a bit, you actually miss your footing just a bit, as you just can't see anything. You can't even see your feet below you.
Eesh. Well, I guess this also seems like a treacherous option, but somehow better than the alternatives. There's the poison room, there's the fan room, and then there's the dark room. Those are options to avoid the gargoyles, right?
I mean, right now the
Or to-
gargoyles haven't done anything to you.
Those are
can't
the
imagine.
options that are presented.
I can't imagine we're going to befriend the gargoyle.
Don't imagine.
Roll an insight check, Xanus.
I would love to make friends.
Do it. See what happens.
13.
13.
Oh, am I rolling at disadvantage again? or-
You are.
Okay. 8.
You don't think you're going to make friends with them. They don't seem friendly. They just
Yeah,
seem like they have a task based on what you guys saw earlier.
Can I move? I'd like to move down this hallway.
You cannot move. You are stuck. If you want to move, you can try to move. You're just going to get caught in those fans.
I thought you said that I could. Oh, were you just saying I could see down the hallway? I thought you were saying I could move down.
Correct. You can't move. You are still there.
My bad. My bad.
You fell straight down into the one open space really below this vent. You are next to the levers if you want to do anything with that. That's up to you.
I'd like to examine the levers.
So you can see that there are 2 levers. Zunis called this out earlier. The one on the left in Primordial says speed. And next to it are 3 notches, one at the top, one in the middle, one at the bottom. And the lever on the right has the lever all the way at the bottom. And next to it has a sign in Primordial that says engage.
Huh.
Could you potentially adjust all of them just a little bit to see?
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's a safe level that I could slow down the fans and kind of run through it.
Well, how would you like to do that? What's your thinking here?
My thinking is that the one lever, not the one, or excuse me, the first lever that you described, the one that has the 3 different settings. If I modified it to the lowest setting, perhaps it would be slow enough that I could get through.
So right now it's at the middle. You want to move it to the bottom?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you move it to the bottom. Nothing happens.
Nothing happens.
You do feel it kind of like clunk as it's there. It seems like it moved, it clicked in place, but nothing has happened.
Let's try the top.
So you all the way to the top. Again, nothing happens.
Let's try the second lever then.
Okay, so you pull the second lever up. You remember that the last thing you had it at full speed. And the fans just go as they're pulling there. You're starting to feel yourself get sucked into the fan vortex. I need you to roll a strength saving throw.
Oh, good. Sounds like it's going to be our last game. Where is Ivo during all of this?
Ivo was with, I'll just say he kind of hung out near the door. Last thing that he had, he was up near that top door. So, Dent, you actually get pulled into one of the fans and kind of thrown up in the air. You get thrown up in the air for a bit as you're kind of like it's almost like you're in an indoor skydiving facility where it's like holding you up. The problem is it sucked you up through one of the fans and you take 4 points of slashing damage on your way through it. You are now out of reach of the lever, hovering above them. Because you are immune to poison, you aren't suffering any effects of the poison. But you are hovering in this noxious space as you're feeling it. What you're also seeing is the poison from the other rooms is getting pulled in more.
Getting pulled into the fan area more. So
correct.
It's not hurting them. If anything, it's helping everybody else.
Correct. Can I have everyone roll a perception check as well?
At a disadvantage.
Anyone that's poisoned or exhausted, yes, you need to roll a disadvantage. Okay, awesome. So most of you guys see this. As the fans are spinning in that way and the poison is moving, the gargoyles have just stopped.
That's not good. I'd like to... So right now the levers are... left-hand lever with the speed is all the way down and engage is up.
Speed was put all the way to the top.
Okay.
And then after he had it all the way to the top, seeing that it didn't do anything on its own, Dent thought, well, let me see if I can do both, and then put the one engage up to the top. As he did that, he kind of went to the top. And as it engaged, it kind of went back down to the bottom, kind of like on its own. But the speed right now was at the middle. It was moved to the top, and then engage was hit.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna run up to that doorway again.
Okay.
And so I probably need to make a athletics check.
Yep. Every time you're crossing through, you'll need to make 2 because you passed 2. First one's
Oh no,
good.
I only passed 1. I didn't go down.
Oh, that's right. You didn't go down. That's right. That's fair.
So I rolled a 19.
Nice. So you get through it without issue. You're back at the door. You see the fans going there.
Can I shout towards the lever and attempt to bring it down with some the engagement lever, pull it downwards with some thaumaturgy.
Does thaumaturgy allow you to move something like that?
I am able to cause a door or window to open or slam shut.
That's a little specific,
I
but
am
it's
navigating physical space.
It's a creative spot. I will say this: roll an Arcana check to see how well you can manipulate this. Or I will say, because you're a cleric, I will allow a religion check as well.
Okay.
Either one.
Tossing a little prayer to Helm.
I say a little prayer to hell.
So which one are you moving?
The engage one down.
Well, the engagement is already down. So if you push it up, what Dent saw is he pushed it up to engage it. As soon as he let go, it went down already.
Oh, okay. And I guess I'll just try and bring down the speed one if I can.
Okay, so the speed one, get it all the way down to the bottom. You kind of cast through Helm a little bit, try to get that going, and it does all the way back to the bottom. Nothing happens yet.
I shout to the group, can anyone engage that lever?
Well, my map is grayed out or blacked out. Is Dent still by the...
Dent engaged it on his
lever?
own, and he got sucked up and is now being pushed up by the airflow.
I have a dumb question, but is my broom an option in this scenario?
What do you want to do with the broom?
Well, I guess I'd like to be able... Well, because what could I even do? Jesus. Try flying through it, but I feel like I'm just going to fuck up the broom. Never mind. Is anybody else available to get this lever? Let's start there.
I can help. Can I help?
Bro,
I'd
is
like to
stealthy.
What do you want to try to do?
help.
I
don't really know what's going on, but it's like to pull on the lever.
So right now, Dent is being pushed up by these turbines above, like maybe about 10 feet into the room near the ceiling, about 20 feet up. These turbines are just spinning at like full speed, pushing him up, causing airflow. There's no way to walk past the blades. Their tips kind of touch. So you can't walk through without getting them. And now that they're at full speed, even if you're out the door, you can kind of feel this pretty strong pull, almost like it's pulling you there. If you walk into the room or try to, it's going to possibly suck you up as well and pull you through the blades.
Can I throw my dagger into the turbine to stop it?
What you're trying to throw it at one of the fans?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's give it a shot. Let's see what happens. Roll an attack roll with one of your daggers. See how good you do. Okay.
Should I be doing that at disadvantage?
Yes, please.
23.
So it does land in one of the fans. I'll say this happens. So you manage to hit the one kind of on the top end of the room, so top right corner of the map, that fan. You manage to hit it right between, because there's like, it's multi-tiered, so one on the bottom, one on the top, one in the middle. You hit it between the one in the middle and the one on the bottom. The one on the bottom stops spinning because of your dagger. It kind of lodges in between the seam there, which means the blade on the very bottom has stopped spinning, which creates about a 2-foot space you think you might be able to sneak through carefully, if you're lucky, and get to the levers.
Okay, I'd like to do that.
Okay. Roll an acrobatics check for me. Again, at disadvantage.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah.
14.
I'll say you are able to kind of like army crawl a little bit through it, going really slowly over the other one. It's starting to pull you. I need you to roll a strength saving throw, though.
Okay. At disadvantage?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, 3.
So you, as you're going through it, are feeling this suction power just start to pull you almost at full speed. You can't hang on. It pulls you straight up through the top. You go through the fans as well. You take 4 points of damage, get kicked up, kind of bounce into Ivo a little bit. You kind of fit there. You, though, are not immune to poison, and this whole top area is basically filled with it. So you take another 5 points of poison damage, so 9 points in total from the fan blades and the poison damage. You also, because you're already poisoned, also have a point of exhaustion added to you, as you're now hovering above in this space.
How do I do exhaustion?
I'll handle
Nate
that.
just remembers.
Yeah, for the time being. I gotta remember where it is on your character sheet, but for the time being, just remember. I'll remember that you have it.
Okay, cool.
Let me just see one quick thing about Firo here.
As soon as I was given exhaustion, I could not stop yawning. I don't know how that.
Nailed it.
Yeah, that genuinely means that.
Yeah, he wouldn't have anything either. But in either case, what would you guys like to do?
Can we maybe consult the gargoyles?
You can
I mean,
try. What do you want to do?
just appeal to them and say all my friends are flying above these fans.
So you do say that, and I'll say you know that they speak Primordial, so you are actually speaking in Primordial. They completely ignore you. And still, while these fans are filling at full speed, they have stopped moving.
The fans have stopped moving, or the gargoyles have stopped?
The gargoyles have stopped moving.
Okay.
Actually,
those are two very different.
I will say this too, and that's okay because no one took damage after the fans went at full speed. The vents aren't pumping anymore either.
Wonder if there's any other like main power source other than the levers.
Well, I think the big fear, right, is that we want this thing to spin. We just want to stop it temporarily so that we can get through. Like, we don't want to shut it down. We want to temporarily shut it down.
Right. It just doesn't seem like the other options are all that much better either.
You guys are the one that went into a secret underground base. I don't think any of the options are good.
Should we consider maybe sacrificing the broom to try and jar open the fan temporarily? I also have a dagger as well. I don't know if I can maybe throw it from the outside. I'm gonna try throwing my dagger from the outside.
What are you aiming at?
I'm aiming at. So you said that the very bottom fan was the one that is currently stopped, correct?
Yeah, correct. So one thing to remember too: the fans are multi-tiered. So think of like a pillar with 3 levels of fan blades.
Okay.
Right? The one that Rowena stopped was this one that I've marked in green. She only stopped the very bottom level fan. Okay. Also, the lever situation right now with thaumaturgy, Thad was able to get the speed notch all the way back down to the lowest notch. But I mean, you would have learned this, Dent, with what you did. You have to be able to do both. You have to choose the speed that you want, and then you also have to hit the engage one afterwards.
Right.
So select speed and then hit it.
But that's only from the inside, right? Like I can't touch anything from the outside.
Correct. You're like 10 feet above the lever right now. You can't reach it.
Right.
So, DM, how you're describing it, Thad engaged one lever, and now we need to try to work, or his call to us was to try to engage this other lever.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
Could I, I'm trying to see here on the map exactly, but where is this other lever in that room that he wants us to engage with?
If you see where Dent's character token is on the map, that's where the lever is, basically. Food for thought. You did
Both
also,
of them are there.
Okay.
Next to each other.
You did also see that Rowena got sucked up there as well, kind of up near the top, sitting in this poisonous field.
So I admittedly was in the real world slightly having dinner and consuming it, but that when you casted
Having dinner and consuming it.
they normally come one after the other. When you cast thaumaturgy, that's what effectively you were able to move the lever, right? That's what it was.
I was able to move the lever, but you have to move both levers in order to change the fan speed, and I only moved 1. So we have to like
So
hit
I
this
have
engage lever.
I have the same spell. Can we simultaneously try, and you go for one, and I'll go for the other lever?
I will allow you to try it because I let him try it. His is already done though. You don't have to do them at the same time. You just have to at least get both.
Okay.
So if you want to try and just hit the engage spell with your thaumaturgy, I will allow you. But because you are not a cleric of some type, I'm gonna force you to do it through an Arcana check.
Ugh. And then, am I at disadvantage on that one?
If you are still poisoned, yes.
Oh, crap.
Okay. So how should I just roll? Because I normally press the button for Arcana, but since I'm at disadvantage, should I just roll it through the dice on the side, on the left side?
If you just right click on where you would normally click it in D&D Beyond for that Arcana check, it'll give you the option to do disadvantage.
Oh wait, I just rolled, and that is not what I meant to do.
That's okay. You can just roll again too and take what it gives you.
Oh wait, I see it now. Okay, so I'm gonna go disadvantage right now. All right, I just rolled.
So
5.
you kind of shout and get thaumaturgy going, trying to like jar this thing loose, and it jigglies a little bit but doesn't move.
Can I try then? Let me look at the map again. Am I? So I'm wondering how good Ivo is at lassoing things.
He could certainly give it a shot, although Ivo is all the way at the bottom currently still. He could walk up there if he wants to. Right now the vents have been turned off.
So I can go up right where Thad is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, why is this? There we go. So I'm gonna do, since my Arcana skills are not up to speed, can I try, same idea, but I have some rope here at my disposal. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else I could use here in my equipment. Let's try the rope, and I'm going to try to do a little bit of a lasso toss at it.
So lasso toss through these high spinning fans. Okay, make a make a dexterity check. Just dexterity at disadvantage because of your poison. I hear something yelling at you. Okay, there's
12.
your, yeah. Let's see what happens. All right. You do actually manage to get it there and get a piece of it, and then just one quick smooth motion, you grab it and pull down. And it does engage as you're able to kind of like pull it just enough, but in doing so, there's no way to avoid snapping the rope through the fans. They all just crush. But you do hit it at the lowest level. The fans start to slow down, and all of a sudden, Dent and Rowena just crash right down to the ground. From there, I would like you both to make acrobatic dexterity saving throws, just as you are landing from about 12, 15 feet up. Okay.
So if I heard you right, my rope is basically snapped in half, and I kind of have
your rope isn't even snapped in half. Your rope is in tatters. Like it's fluid. Your rope is effectively gone. So Rowena, you land without issue. You're pretty dexterous, and you land there. Dent, you land with a thump, not really able to catch yourself, and you take 2 points of bludgeoning damage as you just kind of slash into the ground.
That's easily the best roll I've had today, and I still fucked it up.
So you guys have turned off the fans. As you do this, though, you do notice from afar the vents kick back on, and now they're pumping out poison again, and the gargoyles are thumping through them, collecting them once more. Rowena, I just need you to remove one dagger from your inventory, by the way, unless you'd like to try to collect it.
No, I'd like to remove it.
Okay. So you remove it. Can you roll a strength or an athletics check for me?
Sure.
Sure.
At disadvantage.
At disadvantage, I
Correct.
assume.
Yep, exactly right.
Hey.
Okay, so
13.
you are able to get it as you get it. The like kind of remaining motion that was kind of pent up, that kinetic energy in that fan kicks out as you pull it off. But you're just fast enough to kind of get out of the way beforehand, and you avoid the blade fitting into you. And it kind of spins around, does a couple of rotations, and then kind of comes to a stop as well. I will say it has been more than 10 minutes of in-game time. Rowena, you are no longer poisoned, but you are still exhausted. Zunis, you are
Okay.
no longer poisoned, but you are still exhausted. Ivo, you are no longer poisoned.
Does that mean we can give ourselves hit points back?
You can't give yourself hit points back. You just aren't gonna worry about the poisoned effect. Problem is you're still exhausted, so you're still getting disadvantage on your rolls. As it is right now, the only way to get rid of exhaustion is a long rest or some other type of magic you might be able to find later. But currently you are exhausted for the foreseeable future. That being said, the fans have stopped spinning. You now have a couple of clear pathways to take. There is a pathway down into what seems to be like a main chamber. It is well lit. There are 2 lights in there. There is also another doorway that leads off to the western area of the room that you could take as well.
So I
I have my dagger back, right?
You do have your dagger back, yes.
Okay.
I didn't realize
I
that's
say
so far
we
away from
head.
the grid.
I say we head down that path that Thad is right by on the map.
The well-lit
I
one?
agree.
I agree.
Let's do
Yes.
it.
Love the call.
So you start heading into this room, and so in this central chamber, you see a few things. Just want to check everyone's passive perception while you're in there.
I didn't realize I was so far from the group.
Yeah, because you stayed at that door that was down there. But passive perceptions. 13. Dent has a 9. Not great for you. Pretty good for Rowena.
What else
Zunis,
is
not
new
great.
today,
Yeah. So Thad and Rowena, you actually can see a couple of things here that stand out to you. One, the room is very well lit, so it's pretty easy to see things. Thad, you see the back of the door that you saw earlier. It also, you see the same lettering, so you assume it says caution. It's got the 3 teardrops of Talona on it with that red X over it. And the similar handle kind of in the middle, able to open it. On this side, though, you very clearly see that there are scrape marks along the floor, leading from the door back into this kind of area here that actually leads into a bit of a kind of channel going upwards, and it kind of goes up a steep ramp. And as you look up this steep ramp, I just gotta check one quick thing. No, I don't have it. Yeah, up this kind of steep ramp up in this space here, you can see that at the end of the steep ramp is this big cylinder, metal cylinder with these kind of big metal scoops on it. And it looks like there is like a kind of a little bit of a metal barrier that's lifted, that if somehow that was pushed down or moved aside, the cylinder would just come rolling down this ramp straight back towards the door. Dent, are you in this room with them, or did you stay in the fan room? Are you muted, friend?
Apologies. I came in the room with them.
So you can actually make this out with the earlier proficiency check you made. This seems like it's an emergency vent room. Like somehow this kind of cylinder is actually some kind of air scoop or airfoil, and it's meant to force air in a very rapid way into the poison hallway, the poison loop. And you think combined with those things, it somehow is meant to vent the air in one space. That being said, it's huge, and if anyone got caught in it, it would probably kill them.
Gotcha.
Can I have Thad and Rowena, since you kind of noticed these scrapes and investigated where they came from a little bit, can I actually have you roll a perception check for me?
Mm-hmm.
Not good.
So Rowena,
Very good.
you see just a little bit. It's hard to see because this cylinder is almost made to fit this entire hallway, right? It's an air scoop, so it's really meant to just grab as much air as it can in the space, but just a glint of gold behind it.
Okay.
From the poison, I get it.
Check it out.
Guys, check it out.
There's some gold.
There's
behind
some
this
gold
door.
behind this door.
We need to be careful.
Very careful.
Yeah. So basically, the gold that you see is behind this giant kind of cylinder drum here. Let me see if I can get you kind of in there a little more. So kind of here, you see like a little glint of gold, but it's behind this huge cylindrical air scoop of some type that's somehow being restrained backwards. And it seems like it's connected to the door that says caution on it.
Can I try opening?
Can I try opening the door?
You want to try opening the door? Sure. So you...
Okay.
I'm gonna move far away.
Okay. So you...
Guys, there's
Guys,
gold.
there's gold.
So you open the door. As you open the door, you do quickly see that there is the poison chamber in front of you. You hear a couple things happen at once. First, you hear the other doors that were opened, the one on the top and the one on the bottom, slam shut. You hear these huge metal doors just go, "Kong!" and they both slam shut. Behind you, you also hear a huge metal latch just fall, and this fast scraping metal start charging behind you. I need you to roll a dexterity saving throw for me. Remember, you're exhausted, so it's at disadvantage.
Oh no.
Oh no.
This is like some Indiana Jones stuff happening here.
I'll say.
Okay.
15.
So...
15.
Ooh, yeah, okay. Ouch. So you just can't escape this huge rolling metal cylinder that's literally like stretches from floor to ceiling with these huge metal kind of like arms on them that are meant to kind of grasp air as they're rolling through you. And it's clearly meant to push through the door. And as it's doing this, you can feel this air and this wind pressure just slamming into you. And it does, in fact, slam into you, force you into the wall before you. As it does that, everyone else sees you kind of just get smushed by this thing thrown into this room.
Oh no.
As it does that as well, you also heard from the fan room, the fans re-engaged to their top speed. And all of the poison from the other room got sucked up and out. And now that they're at fast speed again, the vents have all been turned off. But, Rowena, you have taken a lot of damage. I'm really sorry.
Why?
It sounded like a lot of damage.
Because you got slammed by this huge metal giant thing that you opened up on yourself. You take 1, 5 and 6, 11?
Oh, God.
17 points of damage
Oof.
No!
as you are broken and bloodied on the floor. What's your total hit points at, by the way? I probably should do a quick check.
3.
Can we give her some?
Oh
healing?
no. Can I give her this broom to get the hell out of here?
Well, here's the problem. Dent, you would know this. This was an air vent. You can't force air out of multiple places at once efficiently. So all of the doors have closed. You assume that also means your exit. But let's do a quick health point check. Dent, what are you at?
25.
Okay. And then Ivo, what are you at?
25 as well.
Heyo.
Hey.
Roommates.
Ew.
Dent and Ivo, what do you say?
Thad, what are you at?
38.
Okay.
Whoa, someone's showing off.
And then Zunis, what are you at?
34.
34. Awesome.
So, sort of a 1%, 99% scenario, huh?
See, I don't even need to give you monsters. I will say, you do see that this kind of big metal cylinder is there. Rowena seems a little bit crushed underneath it, not doing very well. As it did, you do see at the very far end an open wooden chest with lots of gold inside.
Oh, I see that.
Oh, I see that.
Well, you're far away and kind of dazed, but your comrades see that.
Well, should we? Here, I'm just going to ask the question: should we focus on saving Rowena's life because she's currently being crushed by this thing?
Yeah, and there's also nothing to buy nearby anyway.
Rowena's just playing her character well. What would Rowena do? She would definitely have gone for the gold.
Let's all. Does anybody have any kind of a lifting spell?
I have healing powers.
Can we? Let's get her healed.
I'm pretty sure Thad does as well.
Ew.
But I have cure wounds, which I can roll.
Firo can as well. Firo has some healing, so if you'd rather have Firo do it, Firo is happy to.
Yeah, Firo, you haven't done anything for that.
Yeah, I really have. I haven't, man. You know, I'm here for you, Zunis. It's really all I'm worried about. It keeps touching you again. It's very strange. But he does go over to Rowena, and he will give her his lay on hands pool. And he'll give Rowena 15 points.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Spiro.
Thanks, Firo.
So 15 points to Rowena. So that puts you at 18, I think.
That's correct.
Awesome. All right. So you get a little bump. He's around you. He's like, let me know if there's anything else or if anybody else needs anything. If you guys just tell me what to do, I'll pretty much do it in this current time frame. I'm just following you, you know.
I have a crowbar.
I have a
Can I try
crowbar.
and crowbar myself out of here?
Yeah, roll a strength.
Roll a crowbar check.
Roll an athletics check, but I will say don't do it at disadvantage because the crowbar would normally give you advantage. So I'll just call it a wash. So just do a strength check.
Okay.
Could I
Ooh,
jump
19.
in? Oh, never mind.
She's able to get out from under
See how
it
this goes.
with a little bit of the extra
Nice.
pump from Firo,
There
who
you go.
also helps her do it. You are able to get out from underneath it without too much trouble.
The extra
So now-
pump.
So now I'm
Main
back
area.
in the
Yeah.
main area.
Exactly. So you're kind of with the rest of your pals here. Zunis, are you also wanting to be in this main room, or do you want to stay in that space where you saw the magical darkness?
I don't need to stay by the magical darkness. Joining the game. Wow, I just really sped right back.
Thanks, guys, for your help.
Thanks, guys, for your help.
All right. So you do see that there's a chest with gold in it at the back of that. You still have 2 ways to go. Here's the only problem. The fan room has been 100% engaged again. You're going to have to figure out how to get to the levers once more. You have the room below you that is the darkness room. And that's really the only way that you can see forward. The gold seems to be at a dead end. There doesn't seem to be anywhere else that's there. It seems like it was all the way pushed to the back. So kind of up to you where you'd rather go. Try to figure out how to get back past through the fan room because there was a door to the left, or go through the magical darkness room and figure out what was there.
Look, I'm not one to pass up gold,
No.
so I'll go investigate that chest real quickly.
All right, Thad, you do it. You've got the most health out of all of us.
So
Yeah.
Thad, you do walk up there and you do see this chest with all this glittering gold in it, and you're starting to look around it, trying to feel it. And as you run your kind of fingers up the side of it, you feel that the wood just feels weird. It almost feels supple, like flesh. And as you kind of like pull your hand back for a second, and you're like, that's really strange. And then suddenly you see motion in the gold pile, and this huge purple tongue just lashes out at you, and teeth kind of come down from the chest, like almost as if the chest kind of hinges are a jaw with teeth as it just bites at you. And I need everyone to roll initiative for me as this thing attacks you.
Oh, good.
Oh, good.
Good thing we healed up Rowena before we went and checked this thing out.
Healed up is pretty relative, right?
All right. Thad got a 13.
That's
Yeah,
true.
thank you.
Where are we at? Dent got a 17.
Oh, wait, I did the wrong
Oh, wait, I did the wrong thing.
First good roll of the whole game, man.
Disadvantage though?
Disadvantage still correct. Everything for you is pretty much going to be a
Yeah.
disadvantage while you're there. Rowena got a 10. Yeah, exhaustion can be real brutal. It's not a fun one to have. Thad got a 17 or 13? 13. That's right. And then Ivo got a 7. Zunis got a 11. initiative. All right.
Do you mind if I run to the bathroom
No, of
before
course.
we do a battle?
Does anyone else want to take a quick bio break as well?
Yeah,
I
I'll
would
do that.
Yeah, let's take a little bio break. We'll
While
jump
we're
back
at
in.
it.
No worries at all.
Did you call it a bowel break?
I called it a bio break, but
Oh, I thought you said bowel break.
Okay. Oop, I don't know why that makes it so gross, but let's get you back. Let's get you back.
Nate, did you put a filter on, or is that just the lighting in your room?
It's the lighting in my room. I have a hue light in my lamp. I like to do it depending on the scene that we're in. You know, why not? Add a little more flair.
Wait,
I feel like you're in
I
the
want you
movie
to
The
get a
Fly.
fog machine.
What's that?
I want you to get a
Fog
fog
would be
machine in there.
It'll happen. I mean, I won't show up on the stream, but I'll do it if we play like in real life. I'm definitely wanting to get like a little fog machine. Fuck yeah, or a green screen or something behind me. But so we are in combat. Dent, it is actually your turn first. You do hear your friend Thad from around this corner and tall ramp yelp as he has engaged something you cannot see in the pursuit of gold.
Well, I immediately run to like 3 squares so that I can see what he is being attacked by, but not so that I'm next to him.
You can see now. In fact, I will show you. He is being attacked by some kind of monstrous living chest.
Oh God!
Oh God.
Ah! You guys
Hey.
never go for the gold.
We just
I
have
can't
to
help
keep
it, I'm a
learning this
four.
lesson. Let's go ahead and hit that chest
Sometimes it's worth it.
with a classic.
Well, if the chest doesn't move, we can just avoid it.
I'm sure.
Well,
I'm
he
sure it
yells,
moves.
right? Is this?
It seems to be trying to chomp down on your friend Thad here.
Yeah, I feel I was gonna say based on the teeth, I feel like pacifism is not the current, modus operandi. Let's go ahead and hit this this chest with a classic firebolt.
Okay, roll to hit.
Ooh,
Classic firebolt.
could call it the
Classic.
fire.
Yeah. Natural 20. So critical hit even. So on the damage roll now, right click and hit critical roll.
Critical hit, you mean?
Yep, sorry. Nice, 21 points of damage.
Nice.
Nice. So he takes a huge amount of damage from this firebolt. It's like, I'm so fucking tired of this place. And he just fucking let it rip right past Thad, who's trying to like avoid getting jumped on by this dude. This creature is not feeling super great after that huge hit.
Your shield.
All right. So Dent, anything else on your turn?
I have that secondary stuff where I have to do it in the beginning of my turn, right? Not
Correct.
those other ones.
Yeah, correct. If you want to do like one of your cannons or something.
Yeah, right. That wouldn't be now. Nope, nothing else.
All right, Zunis, that brings us to you. You can see that Dent is throwing fireballs into this narrow rampway.
Yes, since it appears that this chest is inanimate, I would like to take my greatsword and just try to chop its tongue off.
Let's see if you can get there. You cannot quite get past Thad. It is a very narrow hallway. Thad is blocking you.
In that case, what can I do if that's blocking me? May I excuse him? get past,
He can try to get out of your way on his turn.
All right, so I there's nothing I can do then.
Not unless you have anything with range.
I have some spells. How about an ensnaring strike?
You have to hit with a melee weapon on ensnaring strike.
Son of a bitch.
I don't think you have
All right, I
any
guess there's
range
nothing.
on you. Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
think
there's nothing I can really do. Okay, well, it was a fun attempt.
it's fun while it lasted.
Enough.
Thad, though, it is your turn, sir.
I'm gonna go ahead and swing out with full Helm's Retribution.
Alrighty, go ahead and roll to hit.
22.
That hits for sure.
Let's deal some damage. Ooh, 10 points of damage.
Nice, 10 points of damage. Okay, this thing is starting to get pretty crusty as you're breaking him down. Bits of him are going everywhere, but you see, like, as you, like, break off bits of what look like wood, you see it kind of, like, sew him back up. You see, like, more of it try to close as he tries to keep its shape as this fake creature. That'll bring it, though, to this creature, which you actually, Thad, recognize as what's called a mimic, which is a creature that purposely pretends to be inanimate objects to trap unsuspecting adventurers into its wake. So it is going to lash out with its pseudopod-like tongue at you, and see if it hits. If I can hit the button right. It misses you, so that will end its turn. Bring us to Rowena.
Okay.
It counts as an action
if I use thought reading,
my
right? My pendant.
Correct.
All right, then I won't.
I won't read its thoughts.
It
probably doesn't have particularly complex thoughts.
Can I shoot at it, or that and do this in the way with my
short bow?
You could definitely shoot at it. It's just going to be harder to hit, but you can give it a shot.
Okay, I'd like to do that.
All right, roll to hit. I will say, just a heads up too, though, because you're technically have a person next to it, you have advantage on the hits, but you have exhaustion, so we'll just take the 18, call it a wash. That does hit. If you would like to roll damage, you can add your sneak attack bonus, though, still.
Okay. Let me just find the thing. 2d6. Is there an easy way to do the sneak attack bonus on here, or should I just go to the app on my phone?
If you look, if it's 2d6, just tap on in the message field. There's a d6 button. Just tap it twice and hit send.
Okay, it's actually 3d6.
Oh, sure.
So
Nice, 16 points.
there we go.
Alrighty. This thing takes it right in one of its eyes, and it kind of squeals out in pain, and flicking its tongue everywhere. It seems like it's almost dead. Anything else on your turn?
No, I'm just worried this thing's gonna regenerate into little bloodthirsty chests.
Ivo,
though, that brings us to you, sir.
All right. Well, I guess I will just use my. So I can't get past Zunis and Thad in the hallway, right? But
Correct.
I guess I can still, like Rowena just did, shoot like my crossbow at them.
Correct. Yeah, it just basically has partial cover because of your comrades.
Yeah, because they got in the way. Yeah, I don't think I need to do anything too extreme. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just use my, go over back to weapons. There we go. Yeah, I'll use my crossbow.
Okay.
To take a shot at him.
Roll to hit. That misses as you try to aim just a little bit over your friend's shoulders, and you can't quite get a clean shot, and it kind of scrapes along the wall, ricochets off the back, and does not hit the creature. I think that will end your turn.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That brings us back to Dent.
I'm going to run up. I'm going to push that out of the way.
You cannot. There's nowhere for him to go.
I jump over Thad and push him back.
What are you hoping to do after you push him out of the way?
Very gloriously murder this shapeshifter.
With what attack or weapon?
With. Really thought I'd have a second to pick that. With my scorching ray. No.
Well, scorching ray is ranged.
Yeah, I know. That's why I immediately said no. I got excited at the 120, and then I realized it was a range, and I apologize for that. With my unarmored melee strike.
Unarmed melee. So you just want to hit him with your hand. You just want to punch him. Okay.
Yeah.
So first things first, let's see if you can get over your comrades here. I'm going to have you roll an athletics check. Okay, you have successfully landed on top of Thad.
Nice.
You can roll to hit now at this creature. You're going to roll at disadvantage because you are in such tight quarters and you're trying to land a hit at the same time.
First one's a 22.
Okay.
Second one is a 24.
All right.
Let's go.
You do manage to hit. You do manage to hit. I need you to roll that unarmed weapon damage now. 2 points of damage. Nice job. It's still alive, if a little freaked out. Zunis, that brings us to you, sir. Yeah, I mean, now you have Dent and Thad in front of you, so... Kind of up to you. I don't know if you want to like try healing someone or doing something else or moving away. It's up to you.
How many hit points is Rowena at?
I'm fine. I'm at 18.
Oh, you can always have a little more. I'll use healing wounds.
Okay.
Or cure wounds.
Cure wounds is touch, so it just means you have to move over to her. But yeah, go ahead and do that. And then how much life are you getting her back?
10.
Cool. Oh well, you gotta roll. You gotta roll it for cure wounds.
Oh, 1d8 3. Oh, there we go. 6.
All right, so Rowena gets 6 points of health back, putting her at 24. If I'm doing math right.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
That ends Zunis' turn and brings
Not
us to
bad.
Thad again.
I also flip off the chest.
Makes sense. Feels good. Thad, it is your turn. You have Dent pushing down on you from your shoulders.
Emotionally too.
I'll go ahead and cast a nice little scorching ray, I believe.
Okay. Roll to hit for each one. And what level are you casting at?
I'm gonna do 2nd level.
Alrighty.
Nice.
First one hits.
Sweet. And 3 rays of fire. Hold on, my targets.
Correct.
Okay. Let's do another one.
Second one hits. Third one hits. So go ahead and roll damage for all 3.
1, 2, 3.
Nice. How do you want this thing to die?
With lots of flames. I want to melt it into the ground.
It does. You actually see that the wood sort of looks less and less like wood and metal, and looks more and more like melted purple flesh. It smells horrible and acrid and pungent. In kind of on top of it though, as it does finally settle, there are about 50 gold pieces that just kind of land on the floor. Looks like that was kind of this creature's decoy to try to pull folks that might be visiting unwisely. But you do have 50 gold pieces if you'd like to do something with it.
Thad reaches down and kind of wipes off this purpley goo on his armor, and he says, "See, I told you it was worth it."
Very nice.
Am I still standing on his shoulders in this scenario?
I'm gonna say yes, obviously.
It's a pretty good visual. We should get a T-shirt made.
All right, so
along with our I heart Wanda.
correct. Well, you only have one of those now because you had to cut one off of your friend Firo.
That's true.
All right, so the mimic is dead. You have collected what little gold it had, but you are still in the space with a decision to make. Do I try to go through the fan room, try to get back to the levers, or do I go down through the room with darkness?
I think the room.
I kind of like the room with darkness. That's
Yeah.
We have nothing we can see.
Dent agrees.
You cannot see in there. There's magical darkness.
Magical darkness.
I just think there's nothing for us where we've been.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not inclined to try to get through those fans again, so we may as well, I guess.
Yeah.
So who
My only
is... okay.
idea
Yeah.
is because Dent can breathe, doesn't need to breathe, and also I don't have to have breathing potions. Could we see if we could find breathing potions at one of the nearby temples to bring back so we can get out of this place?
You could. You just don't know how long that would mean your friends will be down here.
All right.
But it's an option. I mean, certainly you could try if you think it's that desperate.
Things do seem pretty dire, but how much game time would that take? Where I feel like we'd be sucking.
It would be hard to say exactly. At the
Okay.
very least, it would take almost a full day. I would say probably 12 hours.
Half.
Yeah, those types of things, those types of potions need a very specific shop. You'd have to find someone who had it. You don't know where that would be. You'd have to look. The nearest place is the Temple of the Saviors. Maybe Jethro could do something, but he might have to send you to a town. It would be really a roll of the dice.
I don't want to dominate the game. That's fine. But okay. Good to know that it's an option, but
Yeah.
I'll pass.
So who wants to go into the Room of Magical Darkness first?
Can I go ahead and cast Radiance of the Dawn into this darkness?
Let me check that spell real quick.
That I like where your head's at.
I like where your head's at.
I don't like not being able to see.
Just gotta check one quick thing. Thad, I need you to roll a religion check.
Okay.
So you cast Radiance of the Dawn, and you do notice that the room lights up at first. And you can see from wall to wall, it looks to be an empty room. Just a floor, ceiling, and walls. Almost not more than 5 seconds go by, and immediately the magical darkness is back. Even with Radiance of the Dawn.
That's abnormal, everyone.
But
I don't know. Maybe Helm's guidance is faltering for a moment.
And Thad, you didn't see any other like doorways or anything, right?
It didn't seem like there was anything in there.
I will say he did see two doorways. One that went back towards the. Sorry, my fault. I should have mentioned that. One did go back towards the way of the poisoned hallway kind of route. And one went in the other direction, back towards the west. So there are two doorways. One goes like backwards. One goes forward.
So DM, if we try to, so I know you said we can't see through it like I have dark vision, but if I take one of these torches here and I try to lead it into the room, what happens?
The torch, you can't even see past your nose. Not the torch, nothing.
Magical darkness.
Can I, with follow-up question, with my Eyes of Eagle, just trying this, does that, having those equipped, does that give me any better perception?
Roll for it. Roll a perception check. No advantage though. Nothing. It is complete. You literally can't see your nose. You put your hand in front of your face and you can't see it. You may as well be blind in here.
Shoot. Well, I mean, Thad, do you think from your brief moment of seeing the room, do you think you could kind of lead us in the direction of a door and we could kind of feel around for it?
I could probably manage that.
Okay. So sounds like Thad's going in the room and then Ivo behind him. Who else is going into the room?
I will join.
Okay.
I'll go too.
I'll be the caboose.
Okay. So I'm just gonna
Yeah,
put
well,
you.
no, time out. We should probably go 50-50 into this room. Am I crazy here?
Yeah, I already said it, so that's what we're doing.
All right.
So I need. I gotta do Ivo and Thad. I'm just gonna put you in order. We're just gonna say Fiero is bringing up the rear as well.
Oh, Firo never said he was coming in the room.
Fiero can stay outside. That's fine. We'll say you guys tell Fiero what to do. Fiero will do it. That's the way I'm running it while I'm kiting him here. But
I think Zunis tells Firo what to do.
as you guys are entering the room, I need everyone to roll a d6, just one d6.
Got it.
I don't like that.
Probably better than rolling initiative.
That
right?
one's me, right?
That's true. I feel like I have more power rolling initiative, though.
Just a 2.
Okay. So you guys all enter in this space. You guys can't see each other. You're not near each other. You didn't mention you were going to try to hold hands or anything on each other. You take a couple steps, and most of you, as you step into this room, you notice you step down into the kind of next stone, and it doesn't feel like anything's there. Ivo, you have managed to luckily find the one piece of stable ground and haven't fallen. But for the rest of you, you miss your footing and slip through the pitch darkness. The combination of blindness and acceleration toward the ground is sickening. Strangely, the ground doesn't seem to meet you as you expected. And then, with a disorienting suddenness, you are standing. You stumble forward, catching yourself shakily. The small space around you is round, rough, and organic. There is also a dim light filling the area, although you cannot see a source. From the shadows, you hear an old woman's laughter, followed by who you assume to be the same woman step out of the shadows and move towards you. She is as old as a human as you have ever seen, with a sickeningly green dress and thinning, patchy hair. As she cackles at you, teeth bared, she suddenly stops and cocks her head to one side and begins speaking to herself. "Yes, mistress," she says. So Ivo is above
I'm so
this.
glad I don't see this.
Ivo doesn't see any of this. The rest of you see this woman in this small space. But as you look up, you don't see a ceiling. You don't see a roof. You just see pitch black. The ground below you seems like it's dirt. The walls are no longer stone and mortar. They seem as if you're inside of a cavern. And this woman kind of walks up first as if she's about to lunge at you, but suddenly she kind of stops and like seems to hear something and hear off. And as you see her here in front of you, she says, "Yes, mistress." And she kind of looks at all of you and she says, "I see we have guests instead of gifts." Yes?
Can I use my thought detector?
You can absolutely try. Let me
Alright,
just
I'd like to try.
look at that real fast and determine a ruling for you. Okay, so you DC 15. Let's see. So you do get a little bit of something. This woman's mind is just a jumble of thoughts, and really the medallion of thoughts only gives you surface level. Doesn't give you deep, but you get some, and it goes back and forth between like eat, bile, poison, and you hear this constant message of better deal. This could work. We should use them.
I think we should bargain with them.
Please stay.
What do you mean? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm excited for the company. Usually people who are thrown down here are gifts for my mistress.
Who's your mistress?
I
Shanks,
think-
you owe me a
I owe you a
yarn
job at
book.
Apple.
I think you may know her. I see her. I smell her on you. I smell her sweet poison on many of you. Talona is a wonderful mistress.
Talona.
And
Can you tell us more about Talona?
Poison.
of course, the wonderful mistress and goddess of poison and disease.
She's a goddess.
Of course. Many used to worship her deeply, but now it is not as popular. But we've made a bargain that should remedy that. But I think this one may work better.
What sort of a bargain did you make?
Well, there was one before you, a young woman. Black hair, powerful, in a position of power above. She said she needed a disease, a special one that was old, one that no one knew about. And so my mistress granted her this gift to spread her pestilence, but more importantly, to remind people of who to worship when disease comes.
Wait, the one who asked your mistress, is it Lena Orbweaver?
Ah, familiar name. She gives us gifts to keep us pleased.
If it's gifts you want, I'm sure we can help you. And besides, these gentlemen here can educate you and other gods to worship.
No, there are no other gods, silly. Talona is the only one who truly understands my beauty.
I'm into older women.
I would love to put you into me.
All right, time out. No one's putting anyone in to you in this dark magical room.
Oh, it's a shame. The prospect was intriguing.
Moving on. What if we could be better benefactors than Lena Orbweaver?
Oh, I believe that you could. You seem much more powerful.
Oh, thank you.
Here's the thing about a bargain, you see. You shouldn't go into one without some kind of leverage. And the leverage I have is you can't leave here.
Wait, we can't
leave here without, or we just can't leave here.
You can't leave here unless I let you. Or rather, she lets you.
What would it take for you to let us leave? What would you have of us?
Oh, the same as the deal I gave the other. Ensure that Talona's message is heard again, and that people will admire her. I am willing to give you in trade for this the secret to the cure to the disease that we gave her. I can give you a chance for people to respect you, to save those you care about that have been stricken by this disgusting disease.
And what do we have to do in return?
Oh, we'll get to that later on, sometime.
How do you expect us to enter into a bargain if we don't know
what we'll have to do?
Like I said, leverage. Kill me and be trapped here forever. Or take the deal and leave with a gift.
Can you give us a hint?
A hint?
Perhaps a riddle?
I've already given you a hint. Talona desires to be worshipped again.
So the thing
So
with
the thing with that. You go ahead, Dad.
I was just going to ask our benefactor here for a moment to confer with our brave and strong group of heroes.
Of course.
Alone.
No. Alone is hard in such a small space, but I'll do my best to stay over here. like I said, you've got all the time you need. And she just fades away into the shadows of the wall again.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, I would just like to say this. I trust her, and I think that her deal is a good deal. And I think that though we do have other options, we should take her deal.
I do not want to be trapped underwater. I mean, I can, but I don't want everybody else to be trapped underwater forever.
I think we could take the deal. I mean, I think we have to take the deal. But
Whoa, not so loud.
I'm
Don't give up our bargaining power.
but
I think
I think that
she doesn't
realize. I mean, in addition to this being somewhat unpalatable,
we're in league
with
with
the Erzatzorai, who are arguably trying to stamp out any worship.
Well,
But I mean, how strong is our loyalty to the Erzatzorai? Speaking as
Well,
a,
you tell me.
that's my point.
You don't really.
I don't like them, and I don't feel the need to devote my life to their cause. You know, I devoted this mission to their cause because, once again, we didn't particularly have a choice based on fear of, physical violence or entrapment. And I feel like this is such a similar scenario that, to me, it feels like we're doing this now.
And technically, what harm could come of having people worship Talona, at least for the time being, as long as we have the cure? If they are going to, historically, people turn to Talona after periods of plague once they've been cured in order to show gratitude for being saved. As long as the people are saved, haven't we accomplished our task?
That's what we came for, apparently. I'm learning now.
But I mean, having people worship. I get that makes sense. That
I was just thinking having people worship
a
goddess of poison and plague could
wreak
more havoc.
Well, but I mean, people worship the god of the sun in the right circumstances. Isn't the sun just as destructive as any poison?
Rowena, I think you're thinking of this from a very, very spiritual standpoint. My question is, if you're right, what's your counter proposal to how we get out of here?
I mean, there is the plan where Dent and I go and find breathing potions, but
maybe
just convince her into something else.
Also, side note in all of this, speaking of going elsewhere, where the hell is Ivo?
You don't know. You can't see him.
I kind of look up trying to see if Ivo is anywhere.
So DM, what do I notice during all of this? What am I experiencing?
You just feel like you walked into the room. You can't hear anything from your friends. You didn't hear anything from your friends. You still can't continue to see anything. Do you want to keep trying to walk through the room?
Yeah, I kind of want to I feel like I want to go in the general direction, while it might be limited, that I feel like Thad was going in as we entered the room. So I want to continue going in that direction.
Roll a d6. So you take a couple more steps and you fumble through the floor and you feel that sickening lurch as you're falling with no ground below you. And suddenly the ground meets you, but you're not slammed into it. Your feet met floor. You look around, you also see an empty space of organic, cavernous room with an empty light source, but there's no one around you.
Can I call out to be like,
you can.
Hey guys, that was weird. Did you guys also feel that? I feel like we might have dropped in a different room.
No one hears you. You see no one. You are by yourself.
Oh God, no.
This is just depressing.
You look up and the roof is just darkness. There doesn't seem to be a way back.
And then I can't see anything even though it's dark.
You can still see now.
I...
You can see that you're in a space about 20 feet by 20 feet wide, like a little circular. You feel like you fell into a whole different place, though. It is a cavern.
And there's no...
Yeah.
So I don't see any doors or windows or any... Nothing?
Nope. You are in a
can I
cave
begin...
by yourself.
Can I begin to feel kind of along the cave and the wall to kind of see if I can...
Sure.
Maybe there's a trap door or something?
Roll a investigation check. Nothing. Yeah, nothing.
And then the above me is just kind of like a ceiling?
It just seems like darkness.
Yeah.
Can I... Oh, I don't have my rope anymore. Fuck.
While you're thinking...
Oh,
please.
Yeah, let me think it too.
While you're thinking of that, for the folks that were having the conversation, have you decided what to tell this servant of Telona in front of you, this hag in front of you?
I would like to ask her to solve my riddle. Sort of, right?
Questions are fun if we're here to play. I can do other things.
Listen to me when I say this, old woman. And then I begin to recite, the more you take, the more you leave behind. What am I?
I don't know, and I don't care.
You just said you liked questions.
No, I thought it was entertaining, but we'll be here forever anyway.
But what's the point of being somewhere forever if nothing happens?
Oh, I didn't say nothing happens. I told you the other woman already made her bargain, and she gives us gifts to say thank you. You could be my first gift if you wanted.
What 8-letter word can have a letter taken away and it still makes a word?
I don't know.
Take another letter away and it still makes a word. Keep on doing that until you have one letter left. What is the word?
You tell me. You seem very smart.
What has a head, a tail, is brown, and has no legs?
I don't think you're understanding how this works. Dent, make a charisma saving throw.
Okay.
So we're betting it all on my charisma. Hey, why not?
Robots famously have charisma.
Why not indeed? You suddenly feel super sick to your stomach, which is an odd feeling for you, for someone who never had a stomach. You feel queasy and lethargic, and suddenly you black out, and when you open your eyes, you are in the same room, but instead of the others around you, it's just Ivo.
Whoa. Ivo, where are we? Well, he's gone.
Oh.
So Ivo's like outside the room. And
you guys you guys are basically both in the same looking cave type situation, but the hag is not in this one, and you don't have a way out or a way up. You are trapped.
Okay, so in my perspective, I just kind of saw Dent appear in this room.
Correct.
With me.
Yeah, in this cavern, in this cave, this small cave.
There's no way.
Okay, so I'm imagining I kind of asked Dent where he came from, and he explained it to me. Kind of, we get through that. We go over all the riddles that Dent provided.
I was trying to keep her occupied.
I want the answers.
So I guess Dent. All right. Well, I feel like this is the auxiliary room where the kind of the castaways go. Do you by chance have any rope? Ooh, how is the broom How's the broom? Can it still
Broom's
fly?
still working. I can't send it anywhere, but I can still ride the broom.
Do you want to try to ride it up as far as you can, since we can't see the ceiling?
Ivo, I knew you were the right person. I ride the broom up as far as we can.
Okay, so it's just you. You can't fit two on it anymore.
Yeah, I said we by accident. I meant
Yeah,
I
so,
ride the broom up as far as I can.
So you do ride it up. You get into the darkness, and it just seems to be never ending. And you've gone as far as you can go with that broom, in like one kind of round, let's say, at least 60, 80, 100 feet. Just seems like more dark.
I'm gonna come back down and let Ivo know that it's a no-go up top. It's just sort of an endless. In fact, what I really want to do is I want to cast Detect Magic because I want to get a better sense of what sort of magical realm we're in right now.
So you do Detect Magic. Everything is around you. The walls are magic. The ground is magic. The ceiling is magic. It's almost hard to detect anything specific because everything around you is magical.
Okay. Boy. Everything is magical. We can't physically get out of here.
Well, shit. So my next move was to investigate the upward area of the room, but since he did that,
Right, it's
like
effectively never ending.
in a bind. Unless you have any ideas, we might just have to sit back and wait for the story to progress and to see if anything happens.
So
from in that regard,
while you guys have kind of been put in your little timeout corner, the hag kind of turns to the others and kind of looks to you and she says, "See, like I said, you only go where I send you. Leverage is an important part of every deal. So, are you ready to participate? Or do you want to stay here a little while longer?" And you see her like fingernails grow a little bit.
If we send you
gifts like Lena Orweaver does, after assuming we go along with your deal and we escape, would you be so harsh on us in the future about us upholding us to your bargain?
Well, how about this? I will choose one of you to be her champion, and you will carry the mark of Tolona, and you will be responsible for spreading her wonderful message from this time on. And when she needs that person, she will call on them clearly.
Why don't we just take the original? What do you think? What do you think, Zunis?
No!
I mean,
I want that one now.
Oh,
Oh, God.
Well, can we just sacrifice Firo?
Firo hasn't fallen down.
Hey, Firo, can you get down here?
Firo
Can
can't
he hear
hear
us? Can he sense us? Since we're like spiritually bonded?
You're not quite spiritually bonded, so no, not really. Not with where you are currently. She as she says no, by the way, she runs right up into your face, Rowena. She's right there. And you just smell this disgusting putrescence on her, and she's just it's almost
I'm gonna regret this, but I'll sacrifice myself.
No. You already have someone. I want someone unattached. She wants someone unattached. So I would say this one. And she rubs her finger down your nose, Rowena. And down through your lips. You can now taste her just gross fingernail come through your mouth and on your chin. Or I saw your horned friend earlier. He looked delicious.
No, leave him alone.
Leave him alone.
So you then.
I must warn you.
Never mind. Never mind. I'm not gonna.
All right, I'll take
All right,
it.
I'll
What were you
take
gonna say?
I don't want her to hear.
A yes is a yes, and she doesn't even let you get another word in edgewise as you say it. And just on your forehead, you feel her just with her like super sharp fingernail that seems to grow as it gets you. She just goes like real quick, three like pokes, just boop boop boop, and you kind of feel it on your head as you just feel this like sickening wave go through your body. And she goes, "She knows you now. She hears you now. She will call you when she needs you." But a deal's a deal, my wonderful little friend. And so she will give you what you asked for. There is an altar here, an altar to my mistress Talona, in this complex that was built for her. And at this altar you will see a place where you can sacrifice 3 drops of your own. If you give it blood, or tears, or sweat, 3 of each will open the door. But to make the cure, you must give 1 drop of each. A drop of blood, a drop of sweat, and a tear. But, my champion, they cannot all come from you. 1 from different people. It will.
Are we talking literal
blood, sweat, and tears,
or is it a metonym for something else?
Of course, it must actually be a drop of blood, or a tear, or sweat. We do not like simple jokes. Now, this is important. The cure, once given to someone, to administer it correctly, it's very important. Only 3 drops into the mouth of the victim. More than 3 drops will kill them. Less than 3 drops will kill them. And when they take it immediately after, they must speak the name Talona, or also die. You see, the cure is the way.
Okay.
Okay.
And what
happens after they speak the name?
The disease will be gone, and whoever you give it to will no longer be afflicted by this wonderful gift we've given the other.
Okay.
How shall we
split up this blood, sweat, tears thing? I'm good for either the tears or the blood.
Oh, excellent question. I think this bargain, though, has concluded. Have a very good day, and we'll see you soon, my champion. And she disappears away. The rest of the room now looks like it kind of morphs back into this stone pillar. You actually see Dent and Ivo are in the same place with you, if a further bit beyond. You look up, and you see that the roof in front of you that was completely darkness, the darkness is now left. And what you actually see is almost like a stone walkway, like a tile walkway above you that spanned from one area of the floor to the other. Or from like one entrance to the other door. So if you were lucky enough, you might have been able to actually find the real floor, but weren't able to. And so now you see like you might actually be able to get back up as you've somehow been transported back into the physical world. But you are still at the bottom of this empty pit.
And do we see
Ivo and Dent or no?
You do. They're in the same place as you. You are now all together in the same room, somehow magically.
Okay.
Will
I relate this all to them?
About 20 feet.
20 feet. Ivo, you want to make some good use of a rope? I have a rope as well that I can toss up to you.
Hey, I've been looking for a rope guy.
Is there anything up there you can tie it to?
You could basically try and just get it around the stone walkway. It's only about a foot wide. It's pretty small.
I'll throw it on up to Ivo.
So Ivo takes it. Ivo throws it up. I'll say it's pretty easy because there's not a lot in the way. You're able to tie it off and get yourself a little bit of a kind of rope ladder that you've made that you can pull yourself back up onto the walkway.
All right, you all coming?
Yep.
Do we want to give a look around this area before we leave? I'll give a cursory glance to see if there's anything interesting now that we can actually see everything.
So you do look around. It's pretty plain. Nothing seems really important here. Nothing seems particularly special. It just looks like a box. The magic that was creating this other world, or this thing that took you to this other world, seems to have been dissipated. Clearly on purpose.
Wow.
So I relate to them everything that happened.
So Ivo and Dent are now clued in.
So just for our sake to be on the same page, I don't know if Rowena or Anna herself, or if DM, just a quick recap of what exactly went down. Please.
So it seemed very clear that you were pulled into some other plane of existence. One probably controlled by Talona, the evil goddess of poison and disease. You met a servant of hers who seemed to be speaking in two different voices, and she essentially offered you a bargain to escape because you couldn't find another way out, to essentially become her champion, spread her worship, and she would give you a cure. She selected either you or Rowena for it, but Rowena took that particular sacrifice on herself. She was marked by Talona and given the secret on how to make a cure for this disease, and also how to possibly get out of here.
Okay.
Well, dang.
So are the dots on my forehead very visible, very obvious?
You when you put your fingers around them, you swear you can feel them, but you ask your partners in crime or anyone that you trust if they see anything on your face. And they don't. Oh, hold on one second. And they don't see anything. There are no visible marks, but you swear you can feel almost like open wounds on your head.
Yeah. This is like Anna's bug bite yesterday that I couldn't see.
My what?
Your bug bite that I couldn't see yesterday.
What I was going to say to her was that I had it in my intention to defeat Lena, because I thought perhaps we could make her an offer that will be better for her in some way than Lena, but I thought that was just going to send her over the edge. So I chose not to.
You get the sense, she mentioned this a couple times. She did say this would be a better one. So you almost get the sense she's willing to like cut ties with Lena because you stepped in.
I really don't know if I see it in myself to worship this goddess. However, I have been playing. Oh, I'm getting echo from Ivo. I have been playing with the fact that Rowena doesn't really have any beliefs, so kind of pays off. Anyway, so we have to do the blood, sweat, and tears to get out of here, or is that for the cure?
Well, if you get back on the stone pathway, you can see that there's a door behind you and a door in front of you. The door behind you just leads right back into the poison chamber with the gargoyles. The door in front of you have not explored yet.
Let's check out this door.
So you open
Onward.
It opens without issue into another stone corridor. You are back in the physical world, the material world. It looks just like one of the hallways you saw earlier. You roll a perception check for me, Rowena, since it seems like you kind of took the lead here and went first.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing really stands out. It just seems like a blank hallway. There does seem to be light coming from somewhere down it, but it is pretty narrow, meant to be a simple walkway or a simple pathway.
All right. I don't have any other idea.
Just so I know how everyone's doing on time, it's been about 2-ish hours, 3-ish hours. How are you guys feeling? You want to keep going?
Got another 20 in me.
Yeah.
East Coasters.
I don't know about everyone else. I don't want to speak for everybody, though.
I go where Mo goes.
This pathway does lead down a little bit. As you walk forward, you can see that it just kind of curves through. They're relatively narrow. You really can't fit two of you side by side down it. But you can see that it kind of goes deeper into this underground built, I guess, poison facility. And again, you can kind of see light coming from down that way. Is anyone else going down that way with you? Or are you kind of going on your own? Are you trying to be sneaky? What's the game plan here as we try to figure out these hallways?
I'm always trying to be sneaky.
Roll a stealth check for me.
If others want to come, I welcome it, but I defer to them. Oh,
let me ask your opinion here, Rowena. So I'm not stealthy, but I do have a good immunity to poison. Do you want me to come with you, or do you want me to hang back?
Yeah, I think you'd be useful. And I got 21.
You are you are pretty confident people can't see you. You do get the sense if someone comes with you, though, it's going to be easier for you guys to spot because it's a pretty narrow hallway.
So the opposite of what she said.
Okay.
So I'm going to hang back.
Okay. Sounds good.
So as you walk kind of through this area, there is enough light to kind of show you down this this hallway. As you kind of turn a couple of corners, you quickly have to go back because you actually see a guard walking, kind of patrolling in this space up and down. And he seems to have the same markings you recognize from the fishing hut. These are Lordless Crown mercenaries patrolling this space. And it seems as though this one kind of turned a corner up in front of you. And you can just faintly hear a little bit of conversation down the hallway. So there must be at least two of them in this space.
Okay.
And they're basically...
But I can't see them?
You saw one of them, but you kind of ducked back behind the corner before he kind of like came out to you. You don't know if he's going to keep coming your way, but you basically saw that he went up and over this corner.
Okay. And that's the only way to go?
Currently, yes. Over here, you did notice that there's a door on the left. Let me actually get a light source in. I'm just going to move Thad, even though he's not there, just because he's got dark vision. I don't have lights turned on here. So down this hallway, there is a door where this green mark is that you think you might be able to duck into if you can get there fast enough, or your team can get there fast enough, but you're not sure.
I'd like to stealthily dash into that door and see if it opens.
Okay. So you get there quickly. The guard hasn't turned around yet, but you go to open the door, and just gotta check one quick thing. Come here. Eventually that'll work. Promise. You go to open the door and it's locked. And just second nature for you is, okay, it's locked. I just need to hurry. This guy's coming back. Get the lock tools out. Can you roll a thieves tools check for me?
Yep. How do I do the check? Oh, is it in my...
Yeah, I think I put it in your skills box.
Okay. Hold on, I don't see it.
Oh, is it
I don't see the...
It might not pass through.
I have it under...
But if you...
Oh, there it is. There it is.
Got it? Perfect.
Oh, wait, it won't let me roll it, though.
Oh, really? What's happening when you try to roll it?
Well, there's no button to roll it.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh, wait. I saw it. I found it. 21.
Perfect. So you do, and just like almost like second nature, it's not really that tough of a lock. You open it, you roll in, trying to avoid it, and quickly close the door behind you. And as you close the door behind you, you look up and you're almost like, fuck, because you can see boots in front of you on this chair next to a lamp. And in front of you, as you open up, you look up and there's a guard there, but the guard is passed out sleeping. He's sitting on a chair kind of
So he's in
down.
the room with me.
Yes. The door behind you is closed. You've been able to get in sneakily enough without waking him. But there is a guard in this space.
Is there another door out of here?
There's a couple options here. I'm going to put Thad in the room just to open up the light source a little bit because you don't have dark vision. There is a door directly above you. There is a door, not a door, but a pathway in. If you kind of look through it, you can actually see down there a little bit. And what you see, what looks to be a bit of a prison cell with like metal bars and gates. In that prison cell, from this angle, it looks like maybe a pile of rags on the floor. You can't tell what's around the corner, but it looks like it might open up a little bit into another bigger space where that prison cell is. But the guard is down in the bottom left in that chair, kind of slumped over, sleeping.
Okay, first I'd like to punch the guard to knock him out further.
Okay, roll a attack roll. I will give you advantage because he's sleeping. And then I want to see how much damage you do. Are you going to be
so
unarmed?
Just an unarmed strike?
Yep, exactly right.
Okay. Alright, 1 sec.
Okay.
17.
So go ahead and roll damage now.
It says 0 next to the damage.
It's probably because you have a 0 strength score. Yeah, you have a penalty for strength. I'll do this, though. I'll say because you're dexterous. Just roll a straight dexterity check.
Okay.
We'll let the rule of cool here play. I just want to see how it goes.
The rule of cool.
Okay.
Forgot about that part of D&D.
So you do kind of like actually not really punch him, but you just like clock him with your elbow real quick as he's there. And it's a little grunt as he kind of looks up and like dazed, can't really make eye contact, and just passes out. Completely out. This guard is unconscious. On his hip, you do see that there is a key ring. Try and take it off.
Okay. I would like to take it off.
Okay, you do have
and
a key ring on it. It had 2 keys on it.
I want to go check out this prison cell and the pile of rags.
Okay. So you walk in, and as you walk in, you hear, "Oi! Who are you? You're not supposed to be here." I need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh, okay. Well, that was going to happen eventually.
So there was another guard at the top of this area, also sitting on a chair. This one not asleep. And so let's enter him. Insert. Players. Oop, actually not what I want. Insert creatures. Monster. Let's do some dragon claws. 2. Alright, that one's passed out, so we're just going to leave him unconscious. Why not? One's going to be here. One's going to be here. Okay, let's see what we got for initiative rolls. Thad got a 6. And Rowena got a 23. And Ivo got a... did Ivo roll initiative? Do I not see it? Oh, you're muted, friend. Oh, I muted you. Shit, sorry. Oop.
My bad. Let me roll it right now.
Yep, perfect. 1. Nice. All right, 20 for Ira. And then Zuna's got a 19. Okay. So as he kind of says and shouts at you, "You're not supposed to be here," He also says, "Hey, the rest of yous, get over here now!" And so you do start hearing footprints from the other hallway coming down this area here. So that's going to be first. Ivo, it is your turn, I believe.
All right.
Ivo, you're still kind of... Oh, no, it's all good. You're still kind of back near this hallway because we didn't sneak up with her. You can't see anything. You just heard one of the guards scream from up ahead.
Okay. Yeah, let me move up. Is that where I'm starting, or is that...
This is where you're starting. Yeah, I'll actually put the rest of you kind of in this hallway, too, just so you have it.
Okay, so I guess I will move as much as I can, hearing this commotion. Wait, am I...
Hold on one second. You can probably, with where you
so I can only move 30 feet.
With where you are,
you can get basically there, and then, yeah, that would be, I would say, the farthest you can go.
there, and then, yeah, that would be, I would say, the farthest you can go.
Right there? Okay. And then I guess I can probably see this D2 in front of me, right? I'm
Exactly
assuming.
right. Yep, exactly right.
Exactly right. Yep, exactly right.
Well, I know something's going down. Rowena's up in front of it. Let's take care of business here. This is unfortunate that we're in such narrow hallways, but I'm gonna cast Searing Smite. And then, oh wait, oh no, that's different. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting Fighting Spirit and Searing Smite confused. Searing Smite I just cast it once, right? Per battle.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's cast that, and then I'm gonna take my crossbow to bring up the map. D2.
Yeah, for sure. Roll to hit. That hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Yeah.
All right, 2 points of damage. You do notice, though, he's still, bleeding out. These guys aren't particularly tough. You remember them from above. These are just kind of low-level mercenaries. And you know this, too, Ivo, because you know very, very well the inner workings of the Lordless. The regular, rank-and-file mercs they hire aren't, elites. They're mostly brutes and not particularly tough. But that brings us to Rowena. It is now your turn. You have one guard in front of you. The prison cell kind of to your left, which is closed, and no one else really around you.
I'd like to take my rapier and run at D1 and stab him.
All right, go for it. Go ahead and roll to hit. Just remember you have disadvantage because you're still exhausted.
Okay. Yeesh.
That will miss. I'll let you know. So you do miss with your rapier. Anything else you want to do?
Reading his thoughts counts as an action, right?
Correct. You also you do still have your dagger in hand, though. If you would like, you can try and hit with your dagger too.
Oh yeah, I'd like to do that.
Go ahead and roll to hit with your dagger.
At disadvantage.
Well, actually, I should say I'm doing that wrong. I'm kind of fucking that up a little bit. Although it still would have missed. I forget because you're a swashbuckler. Anytime, basically, you almost get advantage anytime you attack. If there are characters within 5 feet, you get it because you're a rogue. And if there are no characters within 5 feet, you get it because you're a swashbuckler. So pretty much anytime you get advantage. But because you have disadvantage, it just basically is a wash. So you're just going to roll once.
Okay. So that didn't hit, right? That one.
Correct. Yeah, you still
miss. Dagger, I just... Okay.
But you're up in his face.
I'm good for now. Can I back away?
Yes, if you'd like to disengage and move away. How far do you want to go? You can go probably another 10, 15 feet if you want to go back around the corner.
Yeah, I'll go around the corner.
Okay. That'll bring us to that guard who will try and loop back. And he is going to just try to get to you and go for you, Rowena. So he is going to take a couple of swings at you with his scimitar. First one is going to hit. You take 6 points of damage. Second one is a natural 20. So you're going to take 12 points of damage. So in total, you take 18 points of damage.
I'm glad I gave you 18 points.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So that should put you at 6, right?
I have 8.
I have 8.
Okay.
So I was at 24.
So I was at 24.
Oh, perfect.
Or sorry, 6.
Oh,
I'm
sorry, 6. I'm sorry,
6.
I can't do math.
No, it's all good. What is it? Perfect. Okay. So that'll end his turn. Zunis, that brings us to you. You're still in this hallway. You saw Ivo run up and fire his crossbow at something up in front.
Am I close enough to attack this guard?
No, the closest you can get is probably right next to Ivo, or maybe right in front of him in this narrow hallway.
I'll stay behind Ivo, just to back him up.
No worries. So Thad, that'll be your turn then. I don't know.
Thad might be offline.
Yeah, did he
I
drop?
don't know if you saw the chat, but he said, when in doubt, if I
Yeah.
can't get back in Discord, just have me hit
things or cast Sacred Flame.
Sacred
All right, we could do that. He can run in front. He's got a little bit of room. And he will cast Sacred Flame on our friend here. Let me just see what the DC is. Thad. Sacred Flame. Spells. DC 14. He fails. So this dude takes...
Oh, he might be coming back.
That's alright. I'm fucking crushing. He takes 5 points of damage. This dude's already looking pretty beaten up. Not a ton of health on these guys, but that'll end Thad's turn and bring us to that creature, that guard, who will charge forward at Thad. And he will go for Thad twice with his scimitar as well. First one hits.
Bring it on.
Second one hits. You take 12 points of damage total, Thad.
Ow.
You leave for 1 second.
And you're dead.
Yeah, damn.
Dent, that brings us back to your turn, sir.
Let's. I guess I'm pretty far away.
Yeah.
Let's get me closer to. Let's get me right next to Zunis.
You can do that. All right.
Boom, boom.
Anything you want to do? Bonus action or anything else?
Let's do. Oh, let's hit a scorching ray at that the close guy.
You can't
The
see
nut
around.
one.
You can't see around that corner. You can't see him.
Oh, okay. Well then let me let me break the fourth wall for a second. What's that spell that I have to like prep? It's like a follow-up attack, but I have to prep it one attack.
Oh,
ahead.
sure. That's one of your Eldritch cannon. You can choose a couple different types of cannons.
Yeah.
One you could just prep to like have do damage like a flamethrower. You can also put one down that's kind of like a turret, and you can also put one down that's kind of like a shield.
Can I do the turret one?
For sure. I think that one's the ballista.
I'm seeing protector, force ballista, and flamethrower. So I'm assuming it's force ballista.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And that one does create a small or tiny eldritch cannon and occupate space. Can occupy space. Once you create a cannon, you can use it again. The cannon magical. Just trying to see what this one does. So this one does, yeah, this one just basically just like shoots force damage. Makes a ranged spell attack and can hit creatures within 120 feet of it. And it takes a pretty good amount of damage, force damage from it. So, where do you want it to go?
I want it to be in that little bend so that it can see.
That dude?
Yeah, D2.
Okay.
So that it's within range of D2. So right around that bend.
Got it. Let me just get something out here for us, Pax. I'm just going to make it this little crown icon because that was the first one I grabbed. So this is your force ballista, sir, just so you know.
Dope.
All right, nice. Good use of that. Anything else on your turn? I think that's probably all you can do. Okay. Ivo, that brings us back to you. You see Thad in front of you. This like magical kind of ethereal cannon has shown up. And you still have that guard in front of you.
Can I squeeze my way through all that to get to D2?
I will allow it because there's a doorway right next to him. So I'll say if you wanted to try and just like sneak past and either behind him or around him here, I'll allow that. Oop, that's doing a
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, let me put me right there because I want to be closer to where Rowena is then.
Mm-hmm.
And then now that I'm next to him, let's go ahead and do the old Shatter Spike into him.
Go ahead and roll to hit.
Ooh.
Natural 20, nice, yeah. So roll damage, just right click and hit critical hit. Yeah, so you fucking slaughter this dude as his head just lops off.
Yes.
He is done for. You still have a little bit of movement left, but not enough to get to where Rowena is if you wanted to move closer in.
No, that's good. Yeah, I want to get a little bit closer to her there.
Perfect.
Be like, Rowena, we're coming.
Rowena, that is your turn. You are bleeding a little bit. Rowena, as you're starting to get kind of bloody, you feel those 3 teardrops on your forehead seem to be a bit like they seem to pulse a little bit, and you feel this nauseating wave again on you, and you try to like grip your weapons a little tighter as you're trying to steady yourself, and you swear you see this little like bit of green fluid come from your hands and soak into your weapons, just a smidgen.
Ooh, interesting. I'd like to kind of put some of the green fluid on my rapier and then stab at this guy.
Yeah, it seems to. It definitely seems to ooze down your hand and almost like starts to get onto your weapon. So go ahead and roll to hit.
Okay, cool.
And remember you
at advantage or
basically it's a wash.
Neutral.
Exactly, because you have disadvantage. But yes,
Okay.
it'll just be a wash. But you will still get sneak attack.
Okay, 24.
That definitely hits. Roll damage.
All right. 5, and then I gotta do sneak attack.
Yep.
6. 5 plus 12, 17.
So you stab this dude straight through the neck with your rapier. And as he's like just about to just collapse from it, you see that a little bit of the lean liquid starts going through, and he's coughing and wheezing. And while he's basically choking on his own blood, he also seems to wilt a little bit, and you see this like black stretch out from where you stabbed him, from where the rapier made contact with his skin, almost as if he was poisoned as well. And his eyes start to pus a little bit, and he falls to the ground dead.
I have powers now. And I also tell him as he's dying, I say, repent and believe in Tolona.
He was dead the second you stabbed him.
All right, well,
but I will say
ladies.
you do hear in your head. But he's dead as well. You are out of combat. You've been able to drop all 3 of the guards that were here because one you knocked out first, so that helped a little bit. He is gone. Out of combat. Reset. So in front of you, you do have this prison chamber, the gate in the middle, and a large keyhole that you can see. Inside is a pile of rags that you notice, and you're like, oh, that's weird. It's an empty prison cell. But as you turn to move, you see that the rags shift a little bit. And as they shift a little bit, you see a young woman, just dirty and filthy, pop up. And her hair coloring and her skin tone matches the description of the captured young Lord Ruler of Wadep, Sonara Moorhome. And it's hard to make out through all the dirt, but her hair gives her away, her skin gives her away, and her slightly pointed ears give her away. And as she sees you there, and she sees you kill the guards, she, in a hushed whisper, pleads, please, help me. And that's where we'll end tonight's mission.